All right, Coach Tomlin saying little there post-game. Doesn't want to address anything big picture, but there are big picture questions to be answered. Who will be the quarterback? If you take a listen to any Pittsburgh talk radio, who will be the head coach? More likely than not that man, but they got to start doing something differently to get a different result come playoff time. All right, Mac, we just heard from Coach there post-game. Unfortunately, a refrain we've heard plenty over this last half-decade and even further than that, 6 consecutive playoff losses for this storied franchise. And you just said to me off camera, and I don't like to give too much, you said they got to start doing something differently to get a different result. I guess I'll ask this in 2 parts, and I know the answer to one of them. What is that different, and is that the guy to implement different?
You know what? I think when you look at teams that have been successful in regular season play and, of course, having success in the playoffs, you need to have a difference maker at the quarterback position, right? You need to have a legit playmaker. And in year 1 with Russell at the quarterback spot for the Pittsburgh Steelers, we've seen some good things. We saw some good things. He was good enough to be able to get the Pittsburgh Steelers in the playoffs. But then you look at some of his limitations, right? When his first 2 progressions are not there, he evades the pocket. He's throwing the football down the field solely out of bounds, trying to save the play, which I respect. But at some point in time, you need to be able to create plays. That's not who Russell Wilson is. So if you're staying with Russell Wilson moving forward, right, you have to assemble playmakers around him to be able to make him, to be in the positions to excel. Because right now, outside of George Pickens, who's the next best playmaker, right? Who is the next best playmaker?
Pat Freiermuth, man. That's
and maybe Pat, maybe Jalen Warren.
The backfield.
But you don't have another playmaker. Yeah. And see, that's the issue. Because some of these other unique teams in the National Football League, in a playoff spot, they have multiple playmakers on their offense, or their quarterback is a legit playmaker. When you look at Josh Allen, his pass catchers, you might not say, oh, Amari Cooper, but you know who the ultimate playmaker is, Josh Allen. It makes the offense easier to watch. It's easier for them to have production. With the Pittsburgh Steelers, they lack talent in that area. You know, we talked about the Chargers and their limitations on the offensive side. Remember this first thing I said also, they don't have any playmakers. In trying to be successful in the postseason play, you need playmakers. The Baltimore Ravens, 2 playmakers were dominant. They don't just have 1, they have 2, and Zay Flowers was not even in the lineup today. So me personally, when I look at Pittsburgh Steelers, they're always going to be a team that's competitive, that's going to win enough games. But if you want to have success in the postseason, you need to have talent. You need to find a way to stockpile talent, because the last time I checked, in your division, Lamar Jackson is not going anywhere. Joe Burrow is not going anywhere. Jamar Chase is not going anywhere. So those are teams that have playmakers. You have to find a way to add playmakers to whoever your quarterback will be moving forward. There lies the opportunity to improve and have more success in postseason play.
10-3 to start this season. Losers in 5 consecutive games to end it. It was that 4-game losing streak into the playoffs and a one-and-done in playoff football. The question becomes when that personnel, it molds into the right form and you have the Steeler way. Is it the right person right now communicating the message to the team? Because we've gotten unprecedented access to the Pittsburgh Steelers this season, the tail end of it. We've seen what Mike Tomlin is as a coach in that building up close. It is a leader of men. What needs to change the coach? Where does he need to audit what he has done over this last half-decade?
I mean, when you start seeing things going in the wrong direction, it's okay to have confrontation. You know, that's the unique thing about being a head coach, because it's your job to create new opportunities if things are not going right. And I understand you have to lean on the players that got you to certain points. But when things are going wrong or spiraling in the wrong direction, you got to find a way to shake it up. Because I understand fans, Pittsburgh fans will always holler at these moments, get rid of Mike Tomlin. Well, first and foremost, who is option B? And if you're not going to tell me option B is better than option A, what are you talking about? Right? What are you talking about? And there are 20-plus organizations in the National Football League that would love to have Mike Tomlin as the head coach. But to your point, if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and you've been so your entire adulthood life, and if you're in your 40s or 50s or late 30s, you've seen championships, and all you know is one thing, competing for a sticky Lombardi. And that's why it's a disappointment to see what we've seen from the Pittsburgh Steelers in postseason play over the last 6 opportunities. So it's not solely on one individual.
Yeah.
It's on a collective from top to bottom. But to right the wrongs and get back to championship-like football, you have to add playmakers. You have to have playmakers in place. You have to have guys that don't mind running into another man at any given time and moving them against their will. That's the physical side of things. Because in my day when we were there, one thing you knew about us, you were going to get beat up. If we win, lose, or draw, you were going to walk away with a black eye. And that was the mindset. We had to play tougher for longer. In tonight's matchup, they were not the tougher group, and they did not display that mindset for longer. The Baltimore Ravens did. So this is a humbling experience. And when you have these type of moments, the only way to get better is to embrace this moment.
Yeah.
Look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? I should have been better. I got to be better. We all got to be better for the guys that will be a part of this team in 2025.
I just like when I can get a "in my day" out of you.
And it makes me feel old.
It's one of my points of joy. It was quite a day. And to your original point there on the question, do you want 18 consecutive winning seasons, or do you want to be interviewing a rash of coordinators? Mike Tomlin hasn't gotten them over that hump recently, but he's going to get you there. We'll see what the Steelers do moving forward.
You know, congratulations to the Ravens, man. They were the better group today. That was obvious. And really, you know, the X factor was Lamar's unique talents. It seems like every time we got him behind the sticks, he made up for it, or we got him in a possession down circumstance. He extended and won those circumstances, and we never really found a fluid answer all day. Obviously, that was highlighted by our inability to convert third downs in the first half, and they wore us down a little bit. The fatigue component of it became a factor. And so, you know, you can sum it all up to say that they were certainly the better group today. Questions?
Michael, you were surprised that your defense was so effective against them?
You know, not in combination with our ineffectiveness on offense. I just think when you're on the grass like that, particularly against a group and a unit like that with a guy like 8, it could look the way it looked.
Mike, what led to the issues with the offense, especially getting into those third and longs in this situation?
You know, we just weren't good enough, to be quite honest with you. You know, a drop here and there and things of that nature, man, when you're playing good people, it really gets highlighted, and we just weren't good enough.
Anyone else?
Mike, is the way you attacked in the second half, I mean, ideally what you want to do to start the game?
You know, I just think sometimes when people playing with a lead, you know, you get those opportunities. I appreciate the efforts of the guys, man. Certainly we were playing to win, but we weren't able to close the distance. I thought that big run by 22 kind of quelled some of that. But obviously I appreciate the efforts and the intensity in which we took the field in the second half.
Mike, how frustrating is it to lose the season, to end the season in this fashion, 5 consecutive losses and another first-round exit?
You know, I'm worried less about the regular season. You know, we're in the single elimination tournament, and I'm really just disappointed in how we performed tonight, given the opportunity we had.
Mike, where did things go wrong stopping the run tonight?
I think it's just volume. You know, when they play 11-on-11 football, meaning quarterback mobility, things get really isolated. You miss a tackle. It has a chance to be significant. That's how they play. That's the uniqueness of their schematics. But you couple that with the amount of time we were on the grass, it multiplies.
Mike, what haven't you guys been able to do, especially in the first halves, and why has that kept occurring?
You know, we just hadn't moved the ball well enough or consistently enough or scored enough points, particularly in January football, man. You got to score points, and we weren't able to do that.
Coach, just your thoughts on the quarterback position, given it looks like you're headed for another reset just contractually?
You know, I'm not ready to, you know, take a big picture approach. You know, I'm really assessing what happened today, man, and I'm certainly appreciative of their efforts tonight, but I could say that largely for the entire season. They're 2 quality people, 3 quality people at the quarterback position, man, and really appreciate what they poured into this.
Mike, how would you assess Russ's play tonight?
Again, man, it was like our play. It wasn't good enough. Again, man, I just love the spirit in which he continued to fight, the way he led the group out of the locker room at after the half. But certainly, none of us were good enough tonight.
Micah, the one and done's getting to be a little frustrating.
Again, man, I'm just assessing what transpired tonight. As I told you guys earlier in the week, those are my bags, not this collector's bags. And so my energy is on that group in there and what they were willing to give and the journey that we've been on this year. And certainly it came to a disappointing end tonight.
Anyone else? All right.
Thank you, Coach.
That was part 2.